What's up guys, Penguin Overlord here, and welcome back to the Ghost Recon Breakpoint private beta. So in this video, I want to talk about gear score, how that affects combat, and weapon tier rarities. So what is gear score first and foremost? It is the average of your entire level of your equipment and how you increase it. If you equip better equipment, you'll increase your gear level and apparently access new content. So, how do you get a better gear score? How do you get better items with gear scores? Well, there's a couple of different ways that I've found. Well, two main ways, it seems. One is to obviously increase an XP level, if I can figure out where it is. Give me one sec. That's not it. But you get the point. Okay, in the skill point section, XP level 10 I'm currently at, that seems to be the cap for the beta. So that's one way, so increasing your level. The other way is to level up in classes. So obviously I've got the assault class at level 4, and at this point in the private beta I have, okay, I'm not in my bivouac right now, but I have assault, panther, and sharpshooter up to level 4. And with the field medic, I have it up to level 3 with one more thing I need to go before it levels up to 4. So there's so that's how I've progressed. And of course, as you complete the rank up challenges and stuff like that, and level up your rank in a particular class, your gear score becomes better and better. Plus, in regards to weapon tier rarities, how you get those to be better is to it's also to rank up in gear score. So there seems to be a couple of how do I put it? Okay, so it seems to be based on gear level. So like once you start hitting gear score 20 or so, or maybe sooner than that, I don't know offhand. You start getting access to green tier weapons, and once you start inching up to 30 or 40, no, I think it's before that. So I think in gear level 10 you start accessing green tier loot, and once you start reaching tier 30 or so, you start getting blue loot. And as you rise up in gear level, it becomes more and more common to get better and better stuff. Now, how this affects combat. So here's the thing. This is all an average of the gear score is an average of all of the items that you have equipped. So if let's see, do I have a low gear score weapon? Alright, we've got the Vector at level 36. Okay, that's not much of a difference. I should have saved a lower gear score weapon to demonstrate this with. But the point is, where did my M4A1 go? There it is. The point I'm trying to make here is that, I mean, you guys, by the time this video gets uploaded, I would have already uploaded my one video where I'm taking a base. If you have one particular weapon that you like, and it's of a lower gear score, as long as all of these other items are on par with decent gear score, you'll still be effective with that particular weapon. I didn't really notice any significant damage changes using, like, say, a tier 33 weapon when the rest of my gear was higher. So, there's that. Let me think about what else I need to say. So, yeah, the point is, as long as the other gear is at a decent gear score, you can use a lower tier gear score weapon for a little while. Obviously, you want to upgrade eventually, but it's not necessarily like you'll have to cycle through weapons if you don't want to. I mean, you'll still eventually need to do that, but you won't need to do it as often as people feared. Some people have compared Breakpoint to the Division, but I feel that this is a different system. So, now of course, what happens if you encounter enemies with a significantly higher gear score than you? So if, like, you want to go fight the behemoth drones, for example, or if you want to go raid a wolf camp, if I could find it, yeah, where there's like 150 gear score level. Obviously the enemies are going to be tougher. They're going to take more bullets than if you had an on par gear score level. and they will be able to hit you much harder than you would if you had a gear score on par of your server. So the enemies will do more damage, and they'll take more damage. So you do want to keep upgrading your gear score, but it's not that huge of a deal, honestly, because you just find stuff by playing the game. Now, as to weapons and stuff like that, so obviously there's various different bases at the game, throughout the game, where you can pick up weapons and stuff like that. So, some bases have better gear scores than others. So, like, I'm at this Fenbog testing zone right now. Right now, it just has all green gear stuff. But, of course, at the Wolves Outpost, which is a harder area, there's a lot more blue weapons and gear. And, of course, you'll find stuff in between in the middle. This Chem Extraction Complex has a green and a blue. The Mining Control Center has gear stuff. The Silent Valley Mine has all green stuff. You get the picture. So some areas you'll get better gear than others. And of course the Behemoth drones will drop higher tiers of loot as well. So you'll get like better gear if you defeat them. So I think that about covers everything. The point I'm trying to make here is gear does matter, but if you've got a favorite weapon, you can still kind of hang on to it for a little while before you have to go out and find it. And even then, it's usually not that big of a deal because these weapons are usually fairly easy to find. Like this M4A1, for instance, that I'm using. Throughout the game, you'll find hidden stashes, and if I can figure out where it is, I know this location. Okay, right over here on the map, this Cold War site, there's an M4A1 there, and it will scale with your current gear level and rarity. So, like, if I go to right now, I'll pick up a blue M4A1, and I will have it at a high gear score level. So probably like 38 or maybe even higher, like 40 or something like that, because I'm finding gear scores of 40 right now. So that, I think, pretty much covers it. So that's basically gear score. If it's truthfully, it's not, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now I know people don't like looter shooters, and that's fair. It's fine. And they don't like how this game has become more focused on loot, which I think is fair, because Ghost Recon is meant to be a tactical shooter. It's not really meant to be driven around loot and stuff like that. But my personal opinion, it's not really that big of a deal. If you have a favorite weapon, there's always ways to find it and get decent stuff. Plus, actually, let's go fast travel to Erewhon, because there's something I want to show you. If I can fast travel there. Give me 1 second here. These loading screens are pretty cool, by the way. I like them. Much better than the Wildlands loading screens, I think. So, ooh. That's a nice animation. I didn't notice that before. Okay. So, obviously you've got the shop over here. And I've got one particular skill, which actually I'm just testing it out now, where you'll get better quality weapons when buying weapons on demand. But even without that skill, if you buy a weapon from demand, it won't necessarily be a gray give me 1 second. Gotta exit in and out of the shop. It's a little glitchy right now, but I'm sure they'll fix that. Maria. Okay. Maria's not cooperating right now. Just give me 1 second here. Again, private beta, glitches. It's kind of a thing. I am sure a lot of these will get resolved. There we go.
Let me know what.
Okay, so obviously, all of our current weapons are now at a gear score level of 40. So that's kind of like what we can expect the game to drop. So let's pick out an assault rifle. Let's pick out this guy right here, because this is a funky assault rifle. I have no idea what that is. I'll have to look it up. So we just bought that assault rifle. And it's at a tier level of 40. Gear score level 40, and it's blue. So you'll always be able to get the weapon you want, and it'll always be a good weapon, generally speaking, if you hit the right places. So there's also added incentive into getting blueprints throughout the game, because they will scale with your gear score level, and you'll have it at a good rarity. Let me just go set this up, and as you can see, hold on. Oh, I did set it up. Cool. So as you can see, you've got a weapon that's basically pretty much all set up. You've got decent bonuses towards it and all that good stuff. So basically this video is to encourage you guys, if you're worried about the tier loot, I mean, it is annoying having to sort through your inventory and stuff and picking up stuff, but honestly, as far as gameplay goes, it's really not that big of a deal, unless you're trying to do something that's like really hard, like take on the wolf outposts, which I haven't done yet, but I will. I'll try to take one on later and see if I can do it solo, but yeah, that's going to be hard. Behemoth drones, not so much, but yeah, I think that covers it. I've been rambling on long enough. So yeah, that's how the gear score and the tiered loot sort of works in the game. Again, personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal, and if you have a weapon that's a little low in gear score, it'll still work fine as long as you keep up with the other gear score items. Obviously, though, you'll have to keep up with the other gear score items, because eventually you'll get outclassed and outpowered. But again, with the transmog system, where it's the skin override, it's not that big of a deal. You can always look the way you want to look without having weird, goofy gear on. So there you go. That's going to cover it for this video. I'm Penguin Overlord, and I will catch you all next time. Take care, guys.